Hi, right, welcome to this video. A little bit rough and ready, just doing it off the phone. But you know, if you want Swish Smart Productions, then go and watch somebody else's videos, not mine. I'm just going to give you the information that you need. Right, I'm always looking at different ways of sequencing all my hardware, which if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know I've got all of this lovely lot. If you looked at any of my other videos, you'll know I've used a combination of Ableton Live and, with my book, the Electribe. Now, I love the Electribe. It's a great sequencer, but it does have a few limitations. Everything is pretty much quantized. Kind of putting swing and shuffle and whatever on it's not that easy. And actually, sort of step sequencing single, in fact I don't think you can do a shuffle on it, I don't know, but somebody will know that, tell me I'm wrong. But in terms of step sequencing, I find it really tricky just putting separate notes in. Obviously you can play stuff in. So I've come across this app. So I'm now going to control all of my hardware from an iPad, which is pretty cool. So this app is called Modstep. If I just go to my home screen, sorry about the quality, but hopefully you can see. Right, so it's this one here. Let's just get it focused. There we go. Okay, so Modstep. Right, it's not a cheap app. Okay, it's £20 in the UK, 19.99 for the app. But bear in mind, if you've already got an iPad, you've basically got what the Electribe does without the inbuilt sounds, although this does have some inbuilt sounds. But if you want basically just something that's going to step sequence all your external hardware and you've already got an iPad, 20 quid, and it does, and I tell you what, it does a bloody good job of it. Obviously you're going to need some sort of MIDI interface. I've got this Roland, so it's a Roland USB, it's the UM1 MIDI interface. So it's just a USB to normal 5-pin cable MIDI interface. Just got that going through the camera connection kit into the iPad. Powers it from the iPad. There's no drivers or anything needed. It just kind of works straight out of the box. I think that was about 30 quid. So you're looking overall, if you've got to get the camera connection kit as well, that's not cheap. I think they're about 20-25 quid. So at max, you're looking at spending 75 quid to control all of this from your iPad, as opposed to 250-300 quid for an Electribe or any other kind of sequencers that are available. So anyway, this can do a hell of a lot as well. All I'm going to do in this video is a very quick overview of the app, just show you how I've got everything connected. I'll try and do a quick demo of just playing some of the stuff, and then I'm going to do a series, I think, of videos on this, because I do think this app is pretty good. There are some tutorials on the Modstep YouTube channel, which are okay for the basics. It's quite a steep learning curve with this, because when you first look at it, it's like, you know, what the hell's all that about? If you're familiar with Ableton Live and Ableton Push, there are some familiarities with that. Just while thinking about Ableton Live, it does come with Ableton Link, so you can connect everything up to Ableton as well and synchronize stuff up with that also. Right, let's just go through the connections, for which I need my book, because I can't remember how I've connected everything together. Again, I'm going to moan about MIDI through, because only Roland seemed to do MIDI through. If everybody did MIDI through, life would be a hell of a lot easier, but there we go. Right, so if we start out with, so from the iPad, we've got the USB connecty thing going to the USB Roland MIDI interface. That's going to the MIDI in of the TR8, which is under here. I'm taking the MIDI out of the TR8 to the MIDI in of the TB3. And then coming out of the TB3, I've got a MIDI splitter, so that's taking out two MIDI channels out of that. I've got one out is going to the Volca bass, and that's kind of like the end of that chain, because the Volca bass obviously doesn't have any out. And then the other out, if I consult my notes, if I remember rightly, is going to the TB3. Again, TB3 has MIDI through. Thank you very much, Roland. So we can send MIDI through. I'm taking the MIDI out of the TB3 to the MIDI in of the System 1. The MIDI out of the System 1 has another MIDI splitter. Okay, so I can get two outputs from that. One of those is going to the Volca keys, and again that's then the end of that chain, and the other one is going all the way down here to the MB33, which is the end of that chain. So that's just how I've got it set up at the moment. What I'm then doing, so everything else is synchronized together, let's get rid of that. I'm taking the MIDI out of the MX1, I think, am I? Yes, I am. The MIDI out of the MX1 is going into the Electribe, so because we're getting clock into the MX1 via the USB from the TR8 and so on, that's going to synchronize up the Electribe. And now what I've done for now is I've taken the MIDI out of the Electribe to the MIDI in of the monologue. Mini-log, not the monologue. I've not got a monologue, that's a mini-log. So that means I can actually sequence the mini-log from the Electribe, but everything's still going to all stay together and in time, hopefully. Right, so I'm just going to try and get a decent camera position on this iPad. I'll just kind of do a quick brief overview of the app and then just show you how it sort of works. And then on the next video, I'm just going to go through mapping the TR8, because I've had a bit of a nightmare with this, because it's supposed to have a template with it, but the mapping on the template to me doesn't seem to be right. I don't know whether I've got it wrong or not, or I'm doing something weird, but you can map it yourself, and once you get your head around it, it's fairly simple. Right, so I'm going to try and get a better camera angle so you can sort of see everything in the app, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, filming an iPad screen is not easy, particularly in the light I've got in here, but hopefully you can sort of see the basics of this is the main screen of the app. I'm not going to go through it in massive detail. If you want to know all the sections, go to the Modstep YouTube channel, and watch a few of the overview videos on there. But basically what I've got loaded in at the moment is a couple of tracks. So on this first one, this is controlling the TR8, which is over here. There's my finger. So kind of brief sort of setup thing. We would go onto this screen, and then here you can see I've got it's showing up my UM1, which is my MIDI interface. And I've got it, this sets up if you want to send, so get me the right way around, that's your input, that's your output. So if you can send CC messages, you can send note messages and MIDI over USB. So I've got all of those turned on, just press them and that turns them off. And then on my outputs, I've got all of those turned on because this is the clock. So you can have the clock internal or external. So what happens when I press play on here, okay, that's actually now, I'll show you that in a second, that's starting all my equipment. So basically the iPad is controlling everything. Okay, so I'm going to kind of work on trying to do a live set of this and just see how it works. So that's the MIDI setup. Obviously it will be different depending on what MIDI interface that you have. So if I want to control the drums on the TR8, we've got to, in fact, let's just start from scratch, right? We're gonna add a new track, right? So this is a new track. We press up here to add a track. If you click on it, you can change the color and name it however you want to name it. I'm not going to do that for now. Right, so we need to press the in-out button down here. And this gives us our MIDI ins and outs. So at the moment, it's not got any MIDI output set, so I would need to choose that. I'm going to choose my UM1. Nope, it's not done it. Okay, that's now come on there. And my TR8 is on channel 10, so I would choose channel 10. If I go onto this next button across here now, that gets me... So we've got a kind of piano roll sequencer thing on there. We've got a step sequencer thing on here with pads and so on. And then we've got this, which is our MIDI template. So this is the TR8 thing that I've mapped, which I'm going to go through on a separate video. So what I would do is I just drag that, drop it onto there, and it's now got all my things on here. Now, for some reason, it's not playing the notes that are mapped on there. And I think that's usually because you've got to watch on the drums that you've not got the scales mode. If you've used Ableton Push, you'll know all about the scales mode. Okay, so at the moment it's on F sharp minor. So I need to put my scales onto none. Okay, and then I've got all the correct things. Right, I think that's where I was going wrong with the mapping before. I may have been wrong saying it's not mapped correctly. I will try that. But you've got to make sure your scales are turned off, otherwise it does weird things to your pads. Okay, and this bit here, this is kind of based on your step sequence, whether it's drums or a keyboard. So obviously you want to have it on the drum bits, and I don't know if you can see down here. So these are our steps. So as we take this up and down, you can see hopefully that these change name, and that's going to do different bits. I'm going to go into that in more detail, like I say, when I do the full thing on the TR8. So for now, I'm just going to sequence a quick pattern. I'm going to do it from the piano roll. So let's just put kick drum in down at the bottom. Oop. No, it's still playing the one I did before. So if I want to get rid of something, we go edit, and then we hit the bin, and then basically anything that you turn red and hit it again, it's going to get rid of it. So I'm just going to get rid of everything except the thing that we've just put in there. Okay, so if I play that now, nothing is happening. That's good because I've got rid of everything. Let's just go back to the beginning. Okay. So when you're in the step sequence, you can actually play it from, where is it? Can't find it. There's a play button somewhere. So you can play from here. Where's it gone? Don't know. Anyway, we'll come back to that. So if you can't see your controls, you need to do that. That kind of makes the screen bigger and smaller. We've got a stop and a play button down here. Because normally, if you don't use that, you click on that to start it playing. Okay, that's like pressing a clip on Ableton Live. So I'm going to just stop that from playing from there so you can see how we can do it from there. Right, so press play on here. That's going to start that playing. And hopefully you can see here we've got all the drum names up and down here. So let's just stick a snare drum in there. And if you do the paint tool, you can just do loads in one go. So if I want closed hi-hat all the way through. Okay, so that is now sequencing a simple drum pattern on the TR8. Okay, we've got a swing function. Okay, which is great because it's going to send that same swing out to absolutely everything. So everything's synchronized nicely on the swing amount. Okay, I'm not going to go into all these controls and everything. I'm going to do separate videos on all these. This one's just supposed to be a quick overview. Already I'm 13 minutes long because I'm jabbering on. Right, so I'm not going to do much more on this. So let's just give a quick illustration of a few other things. So let's add another track in. So the MB33, yeah, let's just show you how I would do that. Okay, so we're going to have the UM1 selected again, which is there. My MB33 is on MIDI channel 1, so I'm going to leave that as it is. If I just bring up this keyboard, oh, I'll make sure that track's selected. Is my volume up? Yes. What have I done wrong? Got no sound. It should be right. Not got it muted. That one's on. Right. Am I on channel 1 on that? Yes, I am. I am. Yes, I'm doing it right. Not muted. You're on 1. Blah, 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 blah. Right. Bear with me 1 second. I've got to work out why that's not working. Okay. No idea why that one's not working because everything else is. So let's do a different thing. Right. So MIDI channel 4 is my Volca bass. Okay. So if I just move the camera over here, hopefully you can kind of see it both together. There's my Volca bass and there's my... Okay, so you can see me. Okay, so that's playing the Volca bass from the iPad. Try and position that back. Okay, so the TB03 is on channel 3, so I can play that. And so on. Okay, so basically I've got control of all of my hardware. Well, most of my hardware from the iPad. So I can basically, at the moment, I can control the TR8, the TB03, the TB3, the Volca bass, the MB33, the Volca keys, and the System 1, all from this app. And it's so, I personally think that's pretty damn cool. And I know it's kind of, you know, people might say, well, just do it from Ableton Live with a computer and whatever. I'm just kind of thinking of going out live and relying on a laptop, which I don't like doing. This is a lot more portable than a laptop. Okay, it's quite it doesn't really, the app itself is pretty small. It even runs on an iPad 1. I've still got an iPad 1 and I've tried it on that, and it does run on that. And it just kind of does the job. It's not desperately easy to use straight away, I don't think, but with a bit of thinking about stuff, it's pretty cool. So I'm going to leave this video here. Hopefully that kind of gives a bit of an overview. It's a little bit disjointed, I know, this video, and it was probably a little bit confusing, and I'll probably get loads of people moaning about it, but as I always say on all my videos, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Simple as that. Right, so I'm going to do a video, next one, I'll probably upload this at the same time, just after this one, just on mapping the TR8, and sort of step sequencing that, and go into a bit more detail on that, and so yeah, I'll see you in that one.